do you think it's possible to get a nice looking keyless door entry system that will work with a lovely old 1930s door? Or if I get one, should I just put it on the back door where it's less visible but still convenient? It's an oddly specific question, Krista. I think it, and this is going to sound like an iffy answer, a wishy-washy answer, but it depends. There are some, like the August, I think it's the August door lock, where the front is essentially the same. Like if you have what we had at my old house, which was like the handle, which was its own thing, and then a deadbolt, which was separate from the door handle, and the door handle doesn't lock, but the deadbolt does. The August lock gives you basically the same single sort of round key entry thing in the front, and then in the back, it's a big round thing. And then worst case, you can always twist that, and it will, and you can open and close the deadbolt with that if you want to. But it also works with your phone, and you can set it up for proximity, so as you get close enough to the door and you've got your phone in your pocket, the door will unlock for you. But it doesn't really change anything on the outside. So that may be a thing to consider. But the flip side of that is that it's a big round device that attaches to the door that you would have to look at inside all the time. And since you live in Portland like I do, you probably spend a fair amount of time inside, and you may not want to look at that thing. I don't know. So that another, you may want to look at both sides of it, because a lot of times they only show like one side of the, they'll show you the outside of the lock, but not the inside, or they'll only show you like, see, it's just this cute little switch that runs a deadbolt, but then the outside is like a big giant weird thing with a big keypad and the whole bit. So there are a few different kinds of locks, and the thing that you want to think about with them is what sort of functionality you need, and who's going to be using it. So for example, I talked about the one that I have with a keypad on it, and I can use that, and I can assign additional like PIN codes. So if I had somebody that, if I say I'm on vacation and somebody's going to come over and check on my house, I could give them a separate PIN that they could use to unlock that door, so that then they would be able to come and go, but I know the door is locked when they're gone. And, and it's securely, because it shoots the deadbolt, when it does that. So I'm pretty sure, nobody's going to be able to get into that. And then they have their own PIN code, and I don't have to give my personal one out to somebody and then change it later, or whatever sort of stuff you have to worry about with that. So you may want to consider whether or not you want a key code for it, because that's a thing that can be pretty easy. Like if you have a dog walker that shows up when you're not home, or like if it were to be for a vacation house, like you have an Airbnb or whatever, then you may want to be able to change that code all the time, and you may want to go with something that has a PIN pad and be done with it. But for your own house, you may want to see whether or not a keypad is a thing that you want to do, or at least figure out what plan B is if, say, you need to get into the house but you've lost your phone, or somebody needs entry who may not have an iPhone, or may not have a smartphone at all, or may not have, may not have a viable option. I'm not sure who's ringing my doorbell, but they're going to have to come back later. So that would be a thing to consider. And as far as putting it on the back door, if it's possible to use the back door and do it without issue, and you don't have to worry so much about looking at it, then that may be a thing that you want to consider doing as well. It's nice on the front door, but you still need to make sure that there's some sort of plan B, like, can I just hand you a key, and can you still get in if you're a person that I'm granting access to? So that would be a thing to consider as well.